Right, so I did a plant out yesterday at the allotment, which was fantastic. Singing to myself and all sorts. Oh, sorry, there's a fly in my greenhouse. He's going to annoy me. So I'm trying to see if I can get him out of here. But, you know, when you think I'm going to try and get one out of here, they just stop flying. And you can't see him. I can't see him or hear him. A couple of minutes from now, I'm sure he'll... Yeah, anyway. So, and the gear that you've just seen is the second part of that plant out. So what you've just seen is a few more pumpkins, a few more courgettes, something that isn't over there, that I think is not quite ready, are these, which are yellow courgettes. I don't think they're quite ready to go out yet, so I'm going to let these grow on. They're not yellow courgettes, that's not them either, they're cucumber. They're not ready to go out yet either anyway. That's my lemon cucumber, crystal lemon cucumber. The courgettes are these ones. They look very similar. These are summer ball courgettes. They're not quite ready, although they're close to going out, so I'm going to leave them in here for a little bit longer. Now, all that gear is for the allotment. What you see behind me here, and I'll let you see it, is all bits that I'm going to plant in my garden. There's actually a method to the madness that has just sort of come together. So I've got some tomatoes that are nowhere near ready that are going to be planted in my garden, some squash, some pumpkin, some courgettes, and these yellow courgettes. And I said everything, not everything. This is corn, and this is going to go to the allotment, but it's not quite ready to go out yet. So I'm letting it grow for a bit longer here. Perhaps I'll put it on and let it grow some more before I put it out. I just don't want it to... It's quite windy today actually, to get blown about. These tomato plants are from here, and some more squash down here for here, and then I actually think all of this probably won't... I don't think I've got space for all of this in my garden. Anyway, so all of this stuff is to be planted here. Some of it might go to the allotment now that I think about it. These courgettes might go to the allotment. Look, they need a water. Look at that. They need a water. That's the thing with this. I was talking about this peat-free compost the other day. It dries up so quickly. This was watered last night. So I'll water all of this in a minute. And then on the other side is all the bits that I'm going to plant in this greenhouse. So this here is Kiwano. There's a melon here who has a brother down here. These are two melons. Next to this melon here, so there's only one melon in this tray. The rest is cucumber. These are a different type of melon here, and these are cucumber plants. In fact, that's the other way around. These are melon and these are cucumber, and these are all going to go in the ground under these trays. So I'm probably going to plant some of this now, and then the rest of it will go on the other side once all of this gets planted out into this garden, and some of it will go to the allotment because I think there's too much here, and I might give some of it away actually. So I'm probably going to do some of this now. I'm just a little bit worried about exactly how I'm going to do it. The other thing you may have noticed in here is there are trays of sort of used compost, and I've spoken about this before, but with my potatoes I am going to plant them using that used compost because it's all freshly bought this year, and then I'll feed the soil that I put the actual tomatoes in, potatoes in. I've got 3 pots planted so far with potatoes. I'm looking at them now, and I've got one that I've tried this straw method, and I've got a feeling that it's not working. I only say that because I didn't even research how to do it, to be honest. I've just seen it that people do that. I think they plant in straw. This isn't actually straw. This is the stuff that hampers. I think I've made a blunder. This is the stuff that like hampers the inside of a hamper. It's not just cut up cardboard. It's something else, and I get the feeling I shouldn't have done that. Thought I was being clever. So I'm going to check on those now, and possibly take those out and repot them. And I've got this compost. I've actually got some more potting compost left, which I'm going to either put in the soil here, the base of my greenhouse for the plants that I'm putting in here, or use some of it for potatoes. Now, this had onions in it. This had onions in it also. Again, onions. And also, was onions, yeah. And this will be the same over here. So, they don't have massive spreading root systems, onions. They have like a stringy wire, and perhaps I'll pull one out because this stuff is going to go out in the garden anyway. They have stringy wiry root systems, so that compost won't have a load of roots in it, as you might think. It'll be in its normal, natural state, effectively, once I've planted the onions out, which I'm going to do today now. I'll just force my hand. So I'll sprinkle this into the base of a potato plant and then use it to fill them up. Now, I don't know I don't know quite how they're doing. I'm pretty sure I saw one shoot at least come up. So we'll have a quick look at that, and either we'll wait a bit longer, or we'll use this time to get a pot restarted, and you'll see what I mean. So yeah, there's something going on here, obviously, and then there's another. I don't know if you can see where my finger is. He's pushing his way through as well. Still waiting on him, and here's my straw method. But, or whatever this, I don't even know what this is. What am I doing? Yeah, absolutely nothing. So I think I'll bin this and do a bit of research on how to actually do this properly, and just show you how I get these planted with what I've got in the greenhouse. After that, look at that, those disastrous straw potatoes. I've got my seed. It's quite big actually. This is my potato seed, and this was already planted in that that tub of straw for the same period as the ones that had sprouted a little bit. So that's how I know nothing's been going on. So I've got these two. Well, maybe a little bit has happened, but nowhere near as much as what should have happened. And I've got some other potatoes that have been chitting away in here. Again, not a lot going on here. So we shall see what happens once I plant these, but I'll give them a plant anyway. As I've seen at my allotment plot, these are the most resilient plants potatoes in terms of finding a way to grow. The potatoes at my allotment were in the ground under my weed suppressant for 7 or 8 months and were still putting up shoots. And would, if I left them in the ground now rather than pull them up, which is what I did yesterday, and that actually 8 months from when I put the weed suppressant down. I don't know how long they were there. They were probably from the season before last, in terms of when the person who had the plot before me put them down. They've probably been in there a year, I'd imagine, if I'm honest, because they just weren't dug up in the last harvest. They'd been left there. But anyway, I was talking about these trays of compost that I had. So what I would normally do is sprinkle a small amount, so I'll get what's in here, and it has been used already, granted. I'll sprinkle an amount in the base. Not a massive amount. That'll probably do you. And I'll plant or place. Tend to with the chits facing upwards. On opposite sides of the bucket. 2 potatoes, and I'll put 4 in here, so I'll cover it all over. And this isn't how I've usually done it, if I'm honest. Usually I'll only put 2 in and I will just about cover them over, wait for them to break soil, and then continuously cover them over when they've broken the soil that is in them. Now, although this is new compost, it has been used for... Actually, it's only been used for onions, but I still, in my mind, it's going to be depleted as such. So I will feed this. Just get rid of that onion in case he decides he's going to start growing. So I'll just about cover them, or cover them half an inch maximum, I would say, over the seeds that I just put in. And then I'll place the other 2 seed in the opposing corners. And then I'll cover them. I always wondered whether actually, good question here, and some of you might know the answer, whether the size of the tomato seed, I keep saying tomato seed, the size of the potato seed makes a difference. And the reason I asked that question is, you would assume it's got a lot more energy, if you like, to give nutrients, food, to give the potatoes that it's sending out shoots from. Someone will know the answer to that, whether the size of the potato seed matters. Let me know. So this again just about cover these, and this soil doesn't need another water, I don't imagine, until the shoots actually appear. So I'm not gonna water this, I don't think, until shoots appear through it. There's some moisture in the potato seed themselves, and then I don't particularly I don't want them to rot because they're too wet. So I won't be watering these seed. And again, this is all old compost that I've used before, and then I will feed these. I was going to feed with chicken manure, but I have seen a specific potato feed, which I'm going to grab some of today while I'm out and sprinkle some of that over the top of this. So that is just another bucket of potatoes planted. I'll have to sprinkle a little bit more because I don't think there's quite enough earth on top of those, but I'll sprinkle a little bit more on top of these, and I'll plonk these out in my pathway, which annoys everyone because they have to walk around potato pots, but this is what I do, man. I grow food. So I'll plonk this out with the rest of them, and we just wait. As far as these are concerned, I don't have to do lots of watering because it will rain every now and again, and they will be watered. And if you realise it's really, really dry, then you can give them a bit of a water, but in general they will, as long as you feed them, which is what I'll do, they will pretty much look after themselves. And especially in tubs, there'll be less pests. Although one year, was it last year? I think it was the year before last, when we had a horrible summer when it rained a lot. And I'd never seen it before that, I had slug infestations on my potato plants. And I also had them on tomato plants. I'm fully aware of and understand that slugs love a bit of kale. They love a bit of cabbage. Not so much, but they love curly kale. They love a bit of curly kale, and they love some courgette leaves and some pumpkin leaves and squash leaves or whatever. But I had never seen them attack. If I can find the old footage, because I sent it to my mate, if I can find the old footage, I'll clip it in here. But I'd never seen them attack potato plants. I'd never seen a slug on my potato, in buckets I'm talking about, not when you plant them out, because they've got to climb up the side of the bucket to get to the actual potato leaves. And the same with tomatoes. I just thought slugs didn't like tomatoes, but it was a particularly bad year for them. So, and I forgot where I was before saying that, so I'm just going to stop rabbiting on and put these out and go and grab some feed and feed those. And that's me planting potatoes in buckets. you'll have seen me just planting in here, and what is in here is those two melon. Those are 3 Kiwano across the back, and these are cucumber across the front here. Now some of you are probably screaming at you exactly what I'm worried about, which is I've planted too much for the space. So I'll have to just wait and see, to be honest. I've never done this before, so I probably could have just planted those 3 Kiwano there. I don't know. I literally have no idea. I've never planted in a sort of controlled climate before. I will have to watch the climate control in here now, just in terms of it not getting too moist, and make sure that I open the windows so that there's good aeration in here. And then what I'm going to do is, there was as you'll know, the racking system that I've used on both sides. I'm going to put that back in here, and I'll remove the base layer because there's a tray on the base there, and then as these grow through this racking system, hopefully, I have no idea again, I'll remove trays and just see how they go. I know a lot of these plants are capable of growing a lot higher than this greenhouse. However, I do have more of all, apart from those melon, because they were the only two that germinated, but I've got more of a different type of melon. I do have more of all of these that I'll be planting out. So I'll be planting some Kiwano outside. I'll be planting some cucumber outside as well. I don't think I'll be planting any melon outside, just because I don't think they'll survive. But certainly there's 4 or 5 more cucumber plants. I'll plant them out. In the meantime, I'll put them on the other side in here, and I've got 3 more Kiwanos that will go out, and I've got that's it, because the rest is melon, so the rest will have to be planted in here. So let's see how this goes. But as these bits on this side of me get planted out, I can move them, because as I've said before, I do have a portable greenhouse. So once these corn go to the allotment, I think some of these bits will go out and the rest will go in my portable greenhouse over there. And then I'll plant on this side. And I'm looking to get planted in here as soon as possible now, because this is where these plants have lived for the last 4 or 5 weeks anyway. So it's not like the temperature in here is a problem. The only worry is if we go below freezing, but it's the beginning of May, and according to the chart, the last frost date is gone. So I'm going with that. If it's wrong, I might have an empty greenhouse this summer. You never know. Let's see how it goes.